Hello, my name is Tyler Kowak. Just graduated high school this past June. Currently going to be taking a gap year, and I have multiple D1 colleges that are have high level interests, and this is my what's in the bag. I'm gonna give you guys a few tips and tricks, and if you have a few questions, just leave them down in the comments below. So let's do it. All right, so currently I'm playing, I play 98%, Callaway golf clubs. So the first one is the Jaws 60-degree wedge. And I have the Jaws for my 50-degree and also my 56. Around the greens, you can tell by the wear mark, I, go straight to the 60-degree. And, it has 12 degrees of bounce. And I've been playing 12 degrees of bounce for the last 3 years. I'm not like a crazy numbers guy. When I got fit, they said that, because of the way I swing and get under it, 12 degrees of bounce was the best thing. And, with the other bounces for a 60-degree wedge, I wasn't really making the best contact. And I got 12 degrees of bounce, and it allowed me to open up the face more because I love to hit the flop shots, and it allowed me to get more spin. So. And then for the 56, it is 10 degrees of bounce. I don't really use it around the greens. I know they're a little dirty, but I use these the 56 I'll use from 100 to 120 yards, and the gap wedge I'll use from 120 to 135 yards. Yeah, so I'll give you guys a quick tip on the wedge shots. So the big thing is with the 60-degree. I like to hit it high and do soft ones, but also I love to hit a low draw pitch. If let's say I have 20 yards of green to work with, I like to set up with a little bit of a draw stance. And I like to feel like I'm hitting a draw chip because it allows me to get a little bit of spin and the roll that I want. So I'll set up with the ball, off my back foot, and I set up with my toes pointed a little bit to the right of my target. And I'm going to pick out, okay, I want to land it right there, right around that ball. I set up, de-loft the club, and I like to do a little field practice swing where I let the club face rotate a little bit. So it will come out low, check a little bit, and then roll out. Lands right on the ball, and then it rolls out. So I pick my target out right there, that ball. Set up, narrow stance. I put my left foot up, set up a little bit closed. Take a little bit inside and release the hands. Gets the draw feeling. Lands right on the ball and rolls out a little bit. So, this is my 6-iron. I play the Callaway X-Forge CB irons, and they have the NS Pro Modus 3 shafts, 120X. For the driver, I swing around 117, but for the irons, I like to tone it down a little bit. Coach Porzak has always said you want to be the longest driver, in golf, but you want to be one of the shortest iron hitters. So, I kind of value a controlled iron swing, and, I could be, swinging heavier and stiffer shafts, but I like to swing more controlled and within myself because, for irons, it's all about accuracy. You don't need to hit your 8-iron 175, 180 yards. I'd rather hit it 165, 170, and just know how to control it. So currently I'm 5'11", and I weigh 152 pounds. I'm still trying to gain muscle, and because I want to be able to swing faster without having to use a little bit of my back or things like that, because I want to be able to have power, but I want to be able to sustain it. So I've been working with my trainer Cody Smith, and recently I've been getting back into a routine of going to the gym because if you want to be able to play college golf and be a D1 athlete, you're going to have to, be able to, have your body stay up to that level. So I think that now that I'm starting to value that more, I think that I'm going to start being able to hit the ball farther than I am right now, and more consistently too. So I think that a workout routine is going to be big for me because also, you want to be more than 150 pounds at 5'11". So that's been a big thing for me. I've been working with, Coach Porzak since 2017. I came in about this tall, and, as I started to grow more and more, and I'm still, I haven't reached my full potential. I'm still supposed to be around 6'2", 6'1", and, my swing, it gets a little bit, whack when I grow a little bit. So the number one thing that I've always been working on with my coach is, is the takeaway. A lot of times when you swing, a little bit rush, what happens is your wrists kind of bow a little bit back and the club flips a little inside. And what happens there is it means you have to compensate with a little bit of wrist on the downswing. And with a driver, it's okay because a lot of times I can turn my hips fast enough and that allows my club face to stay square and I can hit the ball far with decent accuracy. But with the irons, a lot of times, since I'm swinging a little bit slower, I can't, rotate my hips fast enough. So one thing that I've always tried to work on, I'll get out something shorter because I don't want to be doing this with a 6-iron, but the number one drill that I do in every single practice session, I like to start out with a short iron, and before I even take one swing, I like to focus on rehearsing an outside takeaway where I hinge my wrists up and push down off the ground rather than flipping my wrists inside, because when I do that, it gets behind and it messes up the whole swing. It seems like such a simple thing, but because of how fast I take my backswing, it's really tough for me to do. So that's why recently I've really had to focus on pushing up and out, pushing up and out, pushing up and out. I like to get a feel for that with a few videos, and then I like to take my swing. So I'll start off with a little drill. So with that drill right there, it gets the club pushing up and out, and then I can actually feel it with a real swing. So it's definitely the most helpful so I like to take a few rehearsals, and for someone watching at home, you don't necessarily want to be as outside as this is right here, because if you take it too outside too, then it also gets your swing a little bit behind. You want to be right in the slot for checkpoint 1, which is right here. You don't want to be out and you don't want to be in. So for me, since I have an inside takeaway, I have to exaggerate the feeling, because if I just try to rehearse it right here, right on plane. Nice to meet you. Thank you. Here, I'll redo that. Yeah, so I like to rehearse it extra, going out here. The actual plane is right here, right down this alignment stick. But I have to rehearse it extra because, if I don't exaggerate the feeling, then it's not going to get any better. It's going to take a lot longer. So for me, or if you have an outside takeaway, you want to exaggerate a little bit of an inside takeaway and then do the same drill. So I'll show you one more. So set up. I like to feel my weight 60-40. Hip bump, chest back. Push up and out. And then rotate through the ball. So I like to do that at the start of every session to get a feel for my swing. And then what I do is I still have the same, pitching wedge, 9-iron, 8-iron, depending on if I'm warming up for a tournament, I'll hit whatever club I hit into the greens the most. But if I'm just at home doing a quick practice session, I like to take out the 9-iron. Do those drills for maybe 10 to 20 swings, depending on how my feeling is and how stiff I am. And once I get that feeling, then I like to just rehearse the takeaway and then do my actual swing. So here we go, set up down the line. For this one, I'm gonna feel like I'm hitting a little bit of a draw because right now I'm a little bit over the plane and I wanna feel a little bit of a draw so I can get that right to left ball flight that I normally, go towards. So outside takeaway, push up and out, aim slightly right at my target. And for hitting a draw, what I like to do, and this is all feeling, it's different for everyone. I like to just feel my hands rotating more. And I like to feel right when I get to about 2 inches away from the ball that I release the club a little premature, and that allows it to draw maybe 5 yards. And we got a ton of wind out today, so this might draw 15 yards. So aim slightly right, outside takeaway. Yeah, so I've done videos in the past, and my swing has changed a lot since then. And But the thing is, you know, I'm sure we can link the videos down below, but you know, my swing has been pretty consistent with the fundamentals, like the setup 60-40, the hip bump. You want to have your left hip bumped a little bit, and then you want to have your chest back, and then just the hinging and pushing up and out, turning it to the top, and then using your body just to turn the club through. So those things have remained consistent in my swing. Yeah, I've grown taller. I've probably grown 3-4 inches since then, and you know, I've gotten a little bit stronger. And you know, swings change, and especially for young golfers, you know, it's hard to maintain the same swing. But you know, what you have to do is you have to go back to the fundamentals, and you just have to check those before every practice session. So, you know, even if your swing feels a little bit different after you're traveling, or you know, if you take a 2-week break, you know, your swing might change a little bit. But all I do is I just go back to the fundamentals, because if my setup is good and I do the up and out and I turn it to the top and do that drill, I know that I can still hit the ball, you know, pretty well consistently. So, push up and out. Yeah, so I have 2 driving irons. You know, this is a 4-iron, but it's bent a little bit, so it goes about 225, 230 yards. I like to hit a lot of stingers with this off the tee. And then this is my 3-iron. This club has been in my bag since, you know, I was 15 years old. The shaft is, everyone else who hits this shaft, you know, it goes 100 yards right.
What shaft is it?
It's a 6.0, 85 gram, you know, it's a hybrid shaft pretty much, but everyone else who hits it, it goes way right or way left, just because, you know, it's a weaker shaft, especially for how fast I'm swinging it. And it's just, this club has been the old trusty. And
yeah, hit that thing and talk about like when do you like to hit it?
Yeah, it's, you know, it's been my most consistent club in the bag for the last 3 years. And you know, you can't expect to hit your driver well in every tournament. And I can poke this in San Diego about 250 yards out there. And I was out in Wyoming about a week ago, and I was sitting at 290 yards. So I kind of just said, you know, why would I hit driver if I'm hitting my 3-iron 290 yards out there? So, you know, I hit this club, like I said, if my driver's not, you know, not the best, but also on a lot of courses I play, they're, you know, they're narrower and they're shorter. So I like to hit a nice little low stinger. I like to fade the ball a little bit left to right. And it's going to be tough to fade the ball with this wind today. But what I like to do is I set up a little bit towards the middle of my stance, maybe a little bit up. When you try to hit low, you got to have a narrow stance. The same thing where you push up and out. But all I do here is when I'm getting through the ball, I like to pull my hands more low and a little bit left, which de-lofts the club and allows me to hit that low little fade that I want to hit. So set up a little bit towards the middle of your stance, up and out. And then when I'm rehearsing the swing, because it is a little bit different than my normal swing, pull my hands down the line and swing low left a little bit. So narrow stance, rehearsal. So that one there was about, it's about a 5-yard fade, but the wind held it pretty straight. So, you know, it's a pretty consistent shot, and, you know, I like to do this, you know, if I'm doing a normal practice session, maybe, yeah. Yeah, so I go about, you know, maybe 20 of these, because it's a shot I'll hit maybe 3-4 times, even on a wide open course, because, you know, a lot of times I like to just poke it 250 yards out there if there's a bunker or a water hazard. So narrower stance than normal. I like to get a little bit more on top of the ball. And then you pull the hands down the line, de-loft the club face. If I'm hitting it, you know, normal, I let the hands release a little bit up because I like to have a higher ball flight. But for this, pull the hands down, gets it low. And that one there was super low. That was about maybe 20 feet off the ground. And a lot of times you're hitting into the wind with trouble, and the stinger shot is, you know, something that I can rely on, you know. not hitting the driver the best, got trouble, you know, left or right, just pull out this club and I know that I can hit it with confidence. So rehearsal. That one was a little bit left where I wanted to hit it, but it's still okay because I'll find the left edge of the fairway. There we go. That's the stinger right there. I mean, if we had a shot tracer in that, you'd see it's barely getting over the tree line out there. So that's my favorite club in the bag right there. And I probably won't change it for years to come. So next up, I have the Maverick 3-wood Subzero. The shaft is 80 gram, 6.5 hazardous smoke. And yeah, it's a little bit dirty. You know, this club gets a lot of use, but you know, another one of my favorite clubs. You know, hit it about 265 yards off the ground, and about 280 yards off the tee. And you know, once again, if I'm not hitting my driver the best, or I just want to hit it there's a 290-yard bunker, I just pull out the 3-wood, and I swing really easy with this club. You know, with the driver, I really get after it, but with this club, it's easy power, and it's pretty consistent. So I'm gonna use a tee here. Actually, no tee. Same thing, always gotta have that consistent routine. Outside, drag it down the line. I put this one just in front of the inside of my left foot, about right there, because driver's right on the inside of your left foot, but I put it maybe an inch back. And 3-wood, you know, this is a tough club to hit off the ground. You know, I know a lot of, you know, amateur golfers, you know, they struggle hitting the 3-wood, but, you know, the biggest tip that I've, you know, kind of learned with my 3-wood is I just like to drive through the ball, and it's all feeling. You know, I like to just see when I'm hitting the ball, pull the handle down the line, and just feel like you're hitting the center of the club face. I know it, you know, it sounds kind of weird, but all you gotta do is just feel the hands being pulled down the line, because if you let the hands get behind the body, it's gonna hit the ground first. And if you're doing that, you know, off a tight line in the fairway, 250 yards out from the green, you're gonna chunk it, and you don't want that. And also, sometimes when you get too up on the ball and you lean into it and you get ball first, you hit down on it, you could top it or slice it. So, you know, the biggest thing, have a consistent setup, about an inch off the front foot. My takeaway rehearsal there. And then just drive through the ball and just feel like all you're focusing on is hitting the center of the face. Off the ground, about 265 yards. I don't like to swing that hard like I did there. Yeah, 265 carry. It doesn't roll as much as I'd like, because I do like to fade my 3-wood a little bit, because if you're hitting it into a green, you want it to just kind of stick. So that was my, you know, going after it swing. But if I'll just treat this like 260 yards out to a back pin. I'm gonna land it middle of the green. I'm going over the white flag out there. I'm gonna just drive it through. Consistent rehearsal. That one came out higher, a little 5-yard fade, and it should stick right on the green. So definitely another one of my favorite clubs in the bag. And then now we got one of the most fun clubs in the bag. I've had this thing for well over a year now, so you can see all the scratches, but this is a Maverick Subzero. It's a 9-degree driver, but you know, I decided to knock it down to an 8-degree because I swing really hard up on the ball, and that gives me a higher ball flight. So I used to have a 10-degree driver, and that would go straight up in the air. It would go far, but it would spin a lot, and into the wind, wasn't getting enough distance. So, you know, 70 grams, 6.5 hazardous smoke. So.
How do you like this? This is the new How do you like this, Tyler? This is the new U.S. Amateur limited edition Porzak Golf.
Oh my goodness.
Stars and stripes.
I love it.
Okay, we got 6 people in the Am.
Whew.
Week at Oakmont, we're super pumped.
With my driver, I have a few things that I work on. You know, I like to go after the ball on pretty much every swing, and you know, you don't always want to swing hard at the ball because you know there's a lack of consistency. But what I did is, you know, when I was 14, 15 years old, and I was only like 5'5", 5'4", you know, I learned how to swing fast at the ball, and then I learned how to get accuracy with, you know, high level swing speed. So right now I'm swinging 117 consistently on TrackMan, and you know, with recent strength training, and when I really go after it, which I don't do all the time, I got to 120.5 miles an hour, which is, you know, it's pretty far for my size. So with the driver, it's the same thing. You want this off the inside of your front foot right there, and you got to have that same takeaway rehearsal. You know, that's just something I like to do consistently, because if you flip it inside, because with your driver, you're swinging so fast that it is so easy to flip it inside. So you got to really stress taking it outside. And then what the big thing is, you have to fire your hips through the ball, because for me, if I let my hips stay still and my arms pass my body, the club de-lofts and it goes way left. When I turn my hips and my body together right there, fire them through the ball, it allows me to hit whatever shot shape I want. If I want to hit a draw, I just do that same draw feeling. If I want to hit a fade, turn my hips faster, pull the hands down the line. So I'm just going to hit a high, you know, I'm going to swing pretty hard at this one, but I'm just going to hit a higher ball flight. I'm going to try to cut it a few yards, but into the wind, it will probably stay pretty straight. So when I'm trying to hit it higher, I have a little bit of a wider stance than normal. You know, my normal driver stance is about this wide, but for a higher one, I go maybe an inch or two back, and I just swing really far up on the ball. Oh, sky high, and there we go. So yeah, that's the 119, 120 coming out. You know, I can't do that consistently every time, because, you know, you don't always want to swing that hard in the course because the club rotates a degree left. Yep, you know, that's what I'm working on. You know, I'm trying to still gain more and more speed. Like I said, through strength training, and speed sticks is another drill. You know, there's 3 sticks, they're all different weights, and I've been doing it recently. You know, you can go buy those at a golf mart or online. And, you know, it makes a huge difference. You know, the first time I ever did them, I did it for 10 minutes, just, you know, follow the instructions, swung all the different weights, and I gained 3 miles an hour head speed. And yes, it went back down after because I didn't use it consistently, but I'm gonna start using that maybe once every 2 days, sometimes maybe 5-6 times a week. So that's another big thing for strength training. So here I'm gonna hit, I call this the Fairway Finder. So I like to tee it up super high for, you know, my bomb shot. But if I want to hit it a little bit lower and a little bit straighter, the number one thing is you got to tee it lower. You know, as much as you think that, you know, everyone says you got to tee it high with the driver, you get it up in the air, you hit it straighter. When you want to hit a consistent shot, you don't want to do that. What I do is I put it same spot in my stance, a little bit narrower. I like to grip maybe half an inch to an inch down on the club, depending on how I want to hit it. If I want to hit a little bit of a fade, I like to grip a little bit more down on it. If I want to hit a draw or just a straight shot, I grip it about half an inch down. So let's see, I got my target picked out. I'm gonna hit this a little bit lower, and when I finish, I'm gonna finish a little bit shorter. Instead of my full rotation here, I'm just gonna finish a little higher. That keeps the club face square, and it, you know, allows it just to hit the fairway consistently. So. Right there, it looks like a little bit of a punch swing, but it still goes 280 yards. I swing a lot slower. And, you know, if I really need to go out there and hit a fairway, I'll just do that swing. And there's nothing wrong with hitting at 280 because that's still, it's still a short iron in most par fours. So I'll do another one of those. Tee it a little bit lower. Also, I forgot, I like to set up with a little bit of an open stance because that allows me to pull my hands down the line more. Because when you set up with a closed stance, the club face is going to rotate and it's going to get that lower hook. That never happens when you have an open stance for me. So grip down a little bit. Obviously got to do my rehearsal. And then just a low burner. Boom. Yeah, so this was a gift. My friend's dad, he works for Scottie Cameron. And, you know, he was a big favor. You know, I said, hey, you know, do you know where I can get any head covers for my Scottie Cameron? This was about maybe 2 years ago. And he said, you know, I have a bunch extra, and if you want one. And I said, of course I love a Scottie Cameron head cover. So, you know, he was nice enough to give it to me. And I think that's a Jester or a Joker, I don't know. But it says King of Cash, and, you know, this thing, it's been to a lot of different golf courses around the world. So definitely one of my favorite head covers I've ever had. And I have like 6 more similar like that at home, but that's just the old trusty. Plus it matches my bag. So so this is the Scottie Cameron Newport 2. I've had this since the summer of 2019, and I actually have a story behind it. So
why don't you hold it there?
yeah, so this is a 33-inch putter, and I've had it since I was maybe 5 inches shorter. But you know, I might need to get it extended in the future, but this thing has been old trusty, and I just love the feel. It's got the little line on the back, and this grip, it's a lambkin grip, and it has like a rough feel, and you know, it's been, you know, this has been my favorite putter I've ever had, and I don't picture myself changing it. And the story behind it is I was out in North Carolina for a tournament, and my putter grip was super worn out on my I had an Odyssey before, and my putter grip was super worn out. So I decided to go to the Golf Mart there, and I got it re-gripped, but they screwed up my putter. So I couldn't use it, and since I'm, you know, all the way across the country, I can't just, you know, go get another putter. So my dad didn't have his clubs or anything, so I decided I'm gonna need a new putter. So I was already in the market because I didn't really like my old one, and I basically said, if I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna make an investment. And you know, the investment definitely paid off, and you know, this putter has been my old trusty for a long time. So it was definitely worth the price tag behind it. So these putters are made to last a lifetime. So the ball I play is the Chrome Soft X Callaway. It has the triple track lines. This is one of my practice balls, so it's a little bit beat up, but you know, for competition, you obviously got to bring out a new ball. And what I like to do is, you know, for my special marking is I always use a 4 for my ball, and I like to put blue dots right next to the 4 just to kind of differentiate my ball, because when I'm looking down at it, I can see the blue dots right there, and it just, you know, it's kind of a reminder to keep your club face square and just drive it through the center. So it's not really, it doesn't really do much, but it's just something I've always done. So let's see, I'll go to that target over there, and when I'm putting, I always use a line. Even if I'm 50 feet away, if I'm 2 feet away, I always love to line it up and use my line. So what I'll do is, you know, I'll look at it from the back. I'll say, okay, this is a left to righter. We got a little bit of wind, so play a little bit more break. In competition, I'm gonna go up halfway. And this is probably a 20 to 25 footer. I'll go about 10 feet away, and I'll step in between the line like this. I'll kind of let the you know, the weight distribution. So if it's a left to righter, I should have more weight on my right side, and I kind of can feel it out by now. Okay, let's just say my weight is 70-30, so I know I'm going to play maybe 3 to 4 balls out to the left if it's that severe of a break. So I kind of use my weight to decide, and then I like to go all the way around the hole and kind of double check my, my work. So if I need to make any adjustments, I'll do that. 2 to 3 cups out to left. You know, I haven't done a lot of putting today on these greens, so kind of rusty, but I like to get in there. I take 1, 2, 1, 2 practice strokes. I look at the hole always. I set up. I like to curl my elbow in, tuck it, and then just. I gotta redo that. I haven't hit any putts on this green, but.
Now he'll look, be like, hey, hold on, don't hit. Like, all right, you guys, like finish it up though, like make this putt. Like, we'll edit it if you don't make it. Be like, but I want to be like, all right, that was a bad putt, but like, listen, you gotta grind it out. Like,
yeah, you know, I just played a tournament on, you know, greens that are rolling 12 to 13, so, you know. Not saying these greens are slow, but they're a little bit slower. So sometimes you got to clean it up with a 6-footer. So aim about left edge. Still two putts, so you know I'll take it. I actually lightened my bag because before every tournament, I don't want to be carrying around a super heavy bag. So number one thing I always keep is a ton of golf balls. You know. I always play, like I said, the Chrome Soft X. These are 3s, so I normally use these for practice. I use the 4s for competition. I always keep maybe 3 to 4 gloves in my bag. You know, these are older gloves, so I use these as backups. I like to use the Callaway gloves primarily for competition. And I always keep a rain glove just in case. You never know what's going to happen with weather. So I know it's a FootJoy glove, but it's a rain glove, and it's old, trusty. And I always keep a ton of tees. You know, I've been to a lot of different courses. I have Pinehurst Resort, Pinehurst number 3, classic tees. I have, you know, these are from the Bridges, and just a lot of different tees. I have USGA tees. I have a lot of good stuff to choose from, you know, depending on where I am. And always keep my wallet. You know, I might need that. I have Advil because, you know, a lot of times when you're playing 18 or 36 holes, you get a little bit of pain, and always keep, you know, Band-Aids, a little bit of tape just in case I need it, because you never know, your fingers can get all, you know, torn up out there, and you don't want to have to play around with that. So then normally I always keep a putting plate. I have, you know, Coach Porzak's putting plate on me at all times, but today I was just focusing on my swing, and I just got done with a tournament, so I haven't, you know, used it yet. But I always keep a ton of water in my bag. Got to stay hydrated. I have the Bushnell Tor V4 Rangefinder. It has slope on it. This is one of the best investments I've ever made, because this is the best thing for practice rounds. You turn on slope. You got to take it off for tournaments, but in a practice round, you have the slope on. You say, okay, it's 105 to the red flag. Then it tells me on the bottom it's 103 with slope. So then I can write that down, and then I can play it for the next day. So on courses that have a lot more slope, that's definitely a very useful thing. And let's see, I have over here, I normally have some backup stuff. I have a backup rangefinder because, you know, a lot of times my rangefinder will lose battery, and I just like to keep an extra one just in case. And then, you know, I got a few other things. I got my alignment stick cover, you know, from Porzak Golf. It's sweet, you know. It's definitely one of the best gifts I've gotten. And I always keep a towel on me because, you know, I like to stand on it when I'm putting, don't want to mess up the green. And this is from, I believe, AJJ. It's called the Allison Lee Championship. It was held last summer. It's just, I like the color purple, so I've always kind of used this towel. And that's about it. You know, I keep 2 alignment sticks under there. Got to make sure the alignment's in check. And
do you have an IG handle, Tyler?
yeah, I do. It's at Tyler, Tyler, dot Kowack, Kowack, Tyler Kowack. Yeah, oh, also I have one more thing. So I have,
Can't forget that guy.
so this is my driver head cover. It's a sloth. You know, it was a gift from my sister. She just said, I want you to have some sort of animal out there. She was just like, you know, I named it Steve, so I got Steve the Sloth as my driver head cover, and it was just something I've been using for about a year or two now, and I don't know, it's supposed to tell you, since sloths are really slow, it tells you to kind of slow down, and a lot of times when you're out there, you start to, you know, go crazy. You get super fast, you get anxious, you know, it kind of just tells you to slow down, you know, keep your pace slow when you're walking, don't let the heart rate get up, and also just go low. You know, it's kind of it's a very simple reminder to stay within yourself and slow down. So that's my bag tour right there. And you know, of course, last thing is the actual bag itself. This is a Ping, I think it's a hoofer, I don't know the exact thing, but yes, it's green, it does stand out. I don't know why I got the green, it's just I got the green head cover, and I really liked it. And for my patch on it, I have the MCAS Miramar golf course. My dad was in the Coast Guard for 20 plus years back in the day, and you know, I want to support you know, the military and you know, our troops. So you know, I played the course a million times when I was 6, 7 years old, and you know, I just wanted to show my support for it. So it's definitely a good reminder that, you know, in the military, you're part of something bigger than yourself, and that's how I like to treat it. You know, it's not just me out there. I'm, you know, going out there to represent my whole team. So that's my bag tour. Yeah, so thanks for watching. You know, that was my bag tour. You know, if you have any questions or anything like that, you can leave them down below. And my Instagram handle is tyler.kowack, tyler.kowack. So make sure to hit me with a follow there. And yeah, thank you very much for tuning in.